Hello, everybody. Thank you again for coming to the Police Board's October meeting. My name is Kyle Cooper, and I'm now calling the Board's October 16th meeting to order. We thank CAN-TV, as always, for covering this meeting. It is being live streamed at cantv.org and on the CAN-TV app. It's also being televised on CAN-TV 27. Along with myself, we have the following board members in attendance this evening. The Vice President of the Police Board, Ms. Claudia Badillo, Board Member Tyler Hall, Board Member Katie Liss, Board Member Andrea Safakis, Board Member Justin Terry, Board Member Cynthia Velasquez, Board Member Stephen Block is on his way, and I believe Board Member Porter will be calling in shortly. In addition to the Police Board members, we have the following city officials with us here this evening. We have the Deputy Mayor of Community Safety, Mr. Garion Gatewood. We have Chief Angel Navales, who's representing Superintendent of Police, Mr. Larry Snelling. We have the Interim Chief Administrator of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, Ms. LaKenya White. We have the Deputy Inspector General for Public Safety, Ms. Tabara Richardson. We have the Deputy Director of the Chicago Police Department's Bureau of Internal Affairs, Mr. Timothy Moore. We also have the Assistant General Counsel to the Superintendent, Mr. Vaughn Ganayu. And then, as always, we have the Police Board's Executive Director, Mr. Max Caproni. We will now proceed to the items on the meeting's agenda. This evening, I'm pleased and happy to report that with us is the Deputy Mayor of Community Safety, Mr. Garion Gatewood, who will provide us with an update from the Mayor's office. I think it turned on. Just push it up.
Good evening. Okay, cool. All right, good. Thank you. Garion Gatewood, Deputy Mayor of Community Safety. Just want to take a few minutes to kind of talk a bit about some of the things that we're seeing across the city from the federal government and some of the responses. Chief Navales will cover some of it from the CPD side as well. Just want to talk a bit about some of the work that's coming out of the mayor's office in response. So obviously we've seen an influx of federal agents in our city for immigration enforcement, some other issues. We have historically worked with the federal government on a lot of issues, and CPD can talk about that ad nauseum. A lot of great work has happened in the past. Obviously, we're seeing a bit different. We're seeing a few different things happening now from areas of immigration enforcement. Now, as you all know, we are a welcoming city. We operate under the Welcoming City Ordinance. So that means we don't assist, interfere, or intervene with immigration enforcement. So some of the work that we have done around know your rights and even teaching people the rights that they have, the rights that they don't have, how to communicate with federal agents, what happens in the case of National Guard, and also teaching people about their homelessness rights. And the mayor's office launched a campaign called Protect Chicago, which is a website that houses all of this information. And from our team, the Mayor's Office of Community Safety, we also put out a lot of information that we worked with the Department of Law, Chicago Police Department, and our comms team, and also the Immigrant, Migrant, and Refugee Rights team on to make sure we had all the information ready and prepared. We've also obviously seen an uptick in protest, and I think the city of Chicago handles protests better than any other jurisdiction. We are not Broadview, we are not LA, we are not any of those other spaces because we handle protests and large gatherings. And I'm not saying this just because I work for the city. We are the best in the business at handling those. There's extensive training that goes in, and there's a lot of work that goes in to make sure people are safe. We also continue to expect uptick in protests. We're expecting a pretty significant protest this Saturday at the No Kings Part 2 March. We expect that to be peaceful. We'll have resources in place, working alongside the police department, working alongside our community violence interrupters and other partners to make sure we have necessary folks in place. There's also been some moves from our Department of Law, working alongside the Attorney General to really continue to do the work to defend Chicago. I know there's a lot of conversations around violence in the city, but as all of you know, of course you know that because you had a police board meeting, crime in Chicago has decreased significantly over the last year. I don't need to go into all of the details, but one detail that stands out, and we were just talking about it on the way in, across every major statistical category, crime is down by double digits in our city. We're seeing 60-year lows in some of our areas in crime. So there's this notion that there is a need for the National Guard because crime in Chicago is out of control. It's just that it's a notion. The reality is people are working around the clock to bring resolve, help keep people safe, and this is the work that we'll continue to do. CPD obviously does not cooperate or work with the federal government on immigration enforcement. Again, Chief Navalis will get into that. He'll go into detail about the work that CPD does. So I just wanted to take some time to really give an update on some of the things that people are seeing. I know when we first talked about this with President Cooper and also Max, there was a concern around the National Guard. Obviously, that concern is still there. And we're excited and happy that the work from the Attorney General and our Department of Law and our Corporation Counsel has kept that at bay for now. So that's pretty much what I have. And I know, again, Chief Navalis will go into details on the Chicago Police Department side.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, for just being here tonight and for all the work that you and the mayor's office have been doing on behalf of the citizens of Chicago during this unprecedented time. Definitely just wanted to say, I appreciate you coming and take the time. The folks you see here today come pretty regularly every month to the police board meetings, and I know it was important for them to hear from the mayor's office and you as to the efforts that you all are taking to protect the citizens and to paint Chicago, as you always do, in the best light. So I just want to say thanks again for coming out today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. And with that, I'd now like to call on Chief Navalis to give his report and to follow up on the Deputy Mayor's comments.
Good evening, everybody. Once again to the board, thank you for having me here. And as always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here on behalf of Superintendent Snelling. And as always, we take notes. Myself and the Assistant General Counsel will brief the superintendent on any of the issues that arise here tonight. So I just wanted to touch a little bit about what Deputy Mayor Gary Gatewood spoke about as far as our department's response to incidents with ICE. First of all, I want to start by saying that the Chicago Police Department will adhere to the Welcome City Ordinance. It is our law here in Chicago, and we will adhere to that ordinance. So I can't speak on a specific incident because I do not have intimate details of particular incidents, but what I wanted to do is draw your attention to the policy that guides that. And for anybody that's here, all our policies are available online. And the policy specifically that I'm going to quote from is our special order SO6-1403. Once again, SO6-1403, and that is titled Responding to Incidents Involving Citizenship Status. So without going into the whole detail, what I wanted to quote were the prohibitions of our officers in these incidents. Our officers do not enforce immigration law. It is not within our jurisdiction. Our officers enforce state law and the ILCS and our city ordinances. So when it comes to immigration, department members will provide service to all persons in the city of Chicago, regardless of their citizenship or immigration status. Our department members will not utilize threats of deportation or engage in any verbal abuse of any person based upon the person or the person's family's actual or perceived citizenship status. Department members will not participate in civil immigration enforcement operations or assist the civil enforcement of federal immigration law. And I mentioned that earlier. I just wanted to quote directly from the policy. The exception to that is that does not preclude department members from responding or taking police action should a contemporaneous public safety concern arise. Department members will not stop, arrest, or detain, or continue to detain a person solely on the belief that the person has committed a civil immigration violation or is not legally present in the United States. They won't detain, arrest, or continue to hold a person based upon an administrative warrant. They will not arrest, detain, or continue to detain a person based on an immigration detainers. As far as our facilities, department members will not permit immigration agents access to persons being detained by or in custody of the department or department members, and that includes any inquiries by phone. Department members will not permit immigration agents to use department facilities for investigative interviews or other investigative purpose. So I wanted to touch on those because those are the ones that folks are most concerned about. So I wanted to quote directly on the policy so you understand the expectations of our officers. The public's cooperation is incredibly important for us to solve crimes, for us to understand the issues that are occurring in communities, and we do want our people to call the police when the police is necessary. Another concern that folks have is that immigration agents, I've been with the Chicago Police Department over about 26 years. I've never worked for a fellow agency, so I can't quote their policies. But what I can also say is that our officers would not be masked. Our officers will always display their star number or their police patch that states Chicago Police with their star number and their name, and it would be available upon request. What we wanted to do today is take the time to put folks at ease. If you need the police, please call. The second thing that I wanted to report out today is that this month, the 12th Independent Monitoring Report assessing Chicago Police Department's consent decree compliance will be released. It was filed today, so I'm going to hold off on providing numbers, but what I can tell the group here is that there was significant increase in all the levels of compliance within the consent decree. And as always, the compliance levels, they're just not about numbers. They represent the ongoing work we're doing within the department and within our city so we can best serve the people of this city. This work, which includes policy, training development, is done in close collaboration with the OAG, the IMT, and members of the community. We know it's important that everybody's voices are heard and that there is representation from our public and their public safety concern. Key areas that we saw growth include use of force, community engagement, and officer wellness. As part of our community engagement efforts during IMR 12, we also launched our community training observation days open to the public. We hosted one of these training days earlier this month, and we have a fourth and final one for this year coming up this Saturday, October 25th. If there's anybody here or anybody watching at home, you are interested in participating in the training this October 25th, you can sign up by visiting www.chicagopolice.org/CTOD, and that is C as in Charlie, T as in Tom, O as in Ocean, and D as in David. We hope to see you there. Once again, the progress that we've made has come at close collaboration with all the partners involved, and one of those partners is our community. So we continue to encourage to participate with us. There are plenty of opportunities. Not only you can provide public comment online on policies, you can participate in our TCAC, which is the Training Community Advisory Committee. You can serve, we have some folks here that participate there, or you can participate in any other opportunity that you can provide feedback to us to create good policies that will lead to good training, that would lead to good police work out there to better serve this public. Thank you very much. My apologies that it was lengthy.
No apology needed, Chief Navalis. I thought that was very informative and very helpful, and thank you for coming prepared and for providing the information to the public that I know is of great concern to them.
Thank you.
Before we get to the Chief Administrator's report, I believe the Deputy Mayor has another comment that he would like to make.
Yeah, Chief Navalis inspired me down here. Look, I know there's also, a lot of communities that are living in fear right now, and we recognize that, and I wanted to acknowledge that. The other piece that I wanted to acknowledge too is making sure information is verified as people put information out, because I know there's been times where information is spread and has put folks in danger. We want to make sure people are cognizant of that. Every person you see in khakis is not a federal agent, right? And I think sometimes that puts folks at risk of harm. And I think we have to make sure we're doing our due diligence to verify information. I will also tell you, there's also times where, the police department has also been accused of working with federal agents. When I've seen some of the police department be tear gassed by the same federal agents they were accused of working with. So I think it's just important that, again, as there are a lot of our communities that are currently living in fear. We have to make sure information is verified so that fear is not stoked and we can make sure people have the right information to do everything we can to keep the city safe. So just wanted to add that piece on before we go to the next piece. Thank you, Cal.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. At this time, I now like to call on the Chief Administrator of COPA, Ms. LaKenya White, to give her report for COPA.
Thank you, Cal. We at COPA recognize and understand the community's concerns regarding the activities of ICE. While COPA has no jurisdiction over federal agencies, including ICE, we remain a committed resource to assist individuals in directing their concerns to the appropriate oversight bodies. If you wish to file a complaint against an ICE agent, you may contact the Office of Professional Responsibility, which is OPR, at 833-4ICE-OPR. So that's 833-442-3677. Now, I would like to share with you that yesterday, we published our 2025 third quarter report, which is available to read on our website at www.chicagocopa.org. This year, we have focused heavily on responsible management, introducing new agency-wide systems and controls designed to make our work more efficient, transparent, and impactful. These efforts ensure that we continue to provide the thorough and timely investigation the public expects, while maintaining the transparency that is central to our mission. Our commitment to accessibility and public engagement has also guided major updates this year. To better serve the community, we redesigned several of our online portals to clarify what COPA can provide and to direct other requests to the appropriate channels. Lastly, we are more than halfway through Session 5 of COPA's People's Academy, which started on September 23rd at Kennedy King College and will conclude on October 28th. We have a great group of participants who have been learning about topics such as officer-involved shootings, video release policy, and most recently this week, domestic violence and sexual misconduct investigations. This week's focus is especially timely as October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and today marks International Wear Purple Day, a day to honor survivors and raise awareness about the impact of domestic violence. We are grateful to the community for showing up, participating thoughtfully, and demonstrating a strong commitment to learning more about COPA's work and mission. We look forward to the final 2 weeks of the Academy and to continue this important conversation with our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Administrator White. And I just want to thank all of the leaders at the dais today for giving the reports at this month's meeting. I thought they were very substantive, very helpful, and I hope the members of the public and those in the audience found them helpful as well. Before we move on to the next item of the agenda, Board Member Arlette Porter is attending this meeting via the phone. Is there a motion to permit her to do so?
Yes, so moved. I second.
All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Seeing all hands raised and hearing all ayes, the motion passes. Is there a motion now to approve the draft minutes of the board's public meeting held on September 18, 2025?
Yes, so moved. I second.
All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 Seeing all hands raised and hearing all ayes, the motion passes. The next regular public meeting of the Chicago Police Board will take place at November 20th at 7:30 p.m. And that meeting will take place where all the police board's meetings take place, which is at the Chicago Public Safety Headquarters here at 35th and Michigan Avenue. The next item on the agenda is closed meetings. The police board meets in executive session to discuss various matters. Those discussions are closed to the public as authorized by Section 2C1, 4, 11, and 21 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. Information on matters discussed in executive sessions is included in the minutes of the meetings posted on the police board's website. Is there a motion to close the series of future executive sessions as authorized by these sections of the Open Meetings Act?
Yes, so moved. I second it.
All in favor, raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing all ayes and seeing all hands raised, that motion also passes. The next item on the agenda is disciplinary cases. While the board currently does not have any disciplinary cases to decide this month, they will next month, I do have a brief update on the status of the arbitration litigation that is currently pending before the Illinois Supreme Court. As I reported last month, the Fraternal Order of Police has filed a petition with the Illinois Supreme Court to appeal the recent appellate court decision requiring public arbitration proceedings for the most serious cases of police misconduct. While we are still waiting to hear whether the Supreme Court will accept this case for review, we expect that the ruling will come down sometime in the next month or so. In the meantime, I want to give everyone in the room and listening an update as to where things stand with respect to police board cases. Currently, there are 21 police board cases that are on hold while the litigation continues. There can be no police board hearings in those cases without the consent of the accused officer, and there will be no arbitration hearings regarding those cases until the establishment of an arbitration process is complete that complies with the court's most recent order. 5 cases, however, are going forward before the police board. 3, because those accused officers are supervisors and not members of the FOP. And 2, because the accused officer has chosen to have his or her case proceed before the police board. As I've said at every meeting since this arbitration decision was handed down by the circuit court, we at the police board will continue to keep the public informed of any new developments regarding the litigation surrounding arbitration. And I encourage you to continue to check out the news and police discipline sections of our website, which can be found at chicago.gov/police board for the most current information. The next item on the agenda is appeals by disqualified applicants to become Chicago police officers. When a person who applies to become a Chicago police officer is disqualified and removed from the eligibility list due to the results of a background investigation, that individual has a right to appeal that decision to the police board. The board, as authorized by the Open Meetings Act, has discussed in a closed meeting several appeals. We will now take final action on those appeals today at this board meeting. Is there a motion to affirm the disqualification decision for appeal numbers 25AA 10, 11, and 12, reverse the disqualification decision for appeal 25AA 08 and 25AA 13, and dismiss appeal number 25AA 27 because it was filed after the 60-day deadline set by the Municipal Code of Chicago?
Yes, so moved.
I second the motion.
I will now call on the members of the board for their votes. Vice President Badillo.
Aye.
Board Member Block.
Aye.
Board Member Hall.
Aye.
Board Member Liss.
Aye.
Board Member Porter.
Aye.
Board Member Safakis.
Aye.
Board Member Terry. Board Member Velasquez. I also vote in favor of the motion, and the motion passes. The written decisions of these appeals will be entered as of today's date, sent to the parties, and promptly posted on the police board's website. The next item on the agenda for tonight is a discussion of the police board's training plan. This plan is intended to ensure that board members and hearing officers receive annual training that will enhance their knowledge and skills needed to perform our duties effectively. We believe the establishment of the plan is the final requirement the board needs to complete before the police board comes into full compliance with the consent decree. We will be posting for public comment a draft of the plan in the alert section of the police board's website, which again can be accessed at chicago.gov/police board. At this time, I will now call on the members of the public who have signed up to speak to come to the podium to make your comments. I would just ask, so that we can ensure that all members, and it looks like there's about 12 of you who have signed up tonight, can have your time at the mic, that you just limit your comments to 2 minutes each. Vice President Badillo will be setting that 2-minute timer, so if you hear an alarm go off, please wrap up your comments. The first individual who signed up to speak is Ms. Cece Edwards. Good evening. Yeah, the mic not be on.
Better? Oh, now
Much
you
better.
can. Yeah. All right. I want to, first of all, I want to thank all the board members for their time and service here for the city of Chicago, because we really need you. Things are quite scary for a lot of us, especially those of us who are not able to get out of our homes and those of us who are able to get out of our homes. Second of all, I like to also mention that since the deputy mayor is here for public safety, I'm concerned about the proliferation of nightclubs on 75th Street. Now, we worked since 2023 to stop that proliferation and also put in controls, of which there are covenants with the BACP and these local establishments who have been on 75th Street because of their not being good business neighbors, okay? So the other day, we got notice that another bar has opened up less than 100 feet from a deleterious bar that has had shootings. We have had many 300 people on the streets. Thanks to Commander Tate and Commander Branch, we put in a lot of different controls to help public safety. And that's what I'm glad you're here, because I hope you can take this message back to BACP. We do not want another bar on 75th Street. At this point, with this one opening, there will be more problems at this location on 75th and St. Lawrence. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4 bars right in between 100 feet of each other, which is a violation of the city ordinance, and it is a very deleterious problem for public safety. So we are very serious about trying to keep this to a minimum. Anything you can do, we would be most grateful for that, to get some curb and control here, okay, because it's out of control. And the last thing I want to say is that we had Chief Navalis. Thank you so much. We did get the Midnight Circus off the ground. I don't have enough for everybody, but maybe you guys can share a little bit. I didn't know you
We'll
were
share.
going to be so many today. Okay, and I would also like to add that we have a business called Twisted Agro, who has been trying to get on 75th Street, which is a good business neighbor, a commerce business, can provide 20 jobs, and they have been denied getting on 75th Street since 2023. So anything you can do about that, that can help us too.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. And while Ms. Edwards is passing out the pamphlets, I now like to call the next member who signed up to speak, Mr. T.C. McCoy.
Good evening, Board,
Good evening.
and good evening to everybody here. For those who just came here, I'm a retired Chicago police officer, 28 and a half years. I was a Cook County Sheriff for 5.5 years. I come here out of respect because I know we all need to know that our police department serves all of us. When you go to work every day, you go to work to go home, but you go to work to service people. I want this officer to stand up. This is Officer Edward Jackson Jr., better known as Pac-Man. The Chicago Police Department framed him. He did 100. They gave him 115 years in the penitentiary. It took me 30 years to get him out. Stand up, officer. That's Officer Linko Perry, high school All-American in the 60s from Marshall High School. He was a Chicago police officer for 28 and a half years. My deceased partner, Jerry Sappho, Howard Sappho's brother. On the west side, he's known as Crater Face. I was known as TC in the Austin community. As I told the board before, I've been here and I'll be here some more. President of the United States, Bill Clinton, came to see me because Commander Leroy Shields told him about me and Jerry Sappho and my team, the 80 team, stopped all the crime on the west side of Chicago. We must have been doing something right. In 1995, this man, Michael Hope, first partner to John Burge, was promoted from narcotics to come into IAD as deputy superintendent. He did an article that the Chicago Police Department and the city of Chicago caught and catch and killed the whole article, and I got it. to get me and Jerry Sappho for robbing drug dealers. I made 75 years old in August. You can't find one person in 75 years to say I begged, borrowed, stole anything from them.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. The next person who's signed up is an L. Perry. Oh, Linko Perry.
Good afternoon. I
Good
want to
evening.
yield my time to Mr. McCoy.
Okay.
Thank you very much. He went out and he hired this gentleman right here. It was hard for me to get his picture, but I got his picture. His name was Myron Bougie Robinson. He worked with the Chicago Police Department Internal Affairs Division to try to set me up. He made a phone call to me one night, and he said, I got a house for you with guns, drugs, and money in it. And what would you give me if I gave you that house? And me being dumb from St. Philip's High School, I said, I give it all to you. And he said, why would you do that? I said, because if you know where it's at, it must be your stuff. There's a recording of this by IAD, and I'm pretty sure they better have that recording. And he said to me, I said to him, I said, whoever's putting you up to this don't like you. Because if you ever call me again, you're going to come up stinking. On December the 8th, they got together at IAD Corrupt Practices Headquarters. He made a phone call to a gentleman named Charles Vaughn and told Charles Vaughn, would you like to participate in a robbery? Charles Vaughn told them, I don't have a car to get there. Some of you might recognize this guy right here, Peter Kokonis. Worked in Internal Affairs, IAD Corrupt Practices. This was the car, a Ford Mercury Sable that he was in charge of, an undercover police car. Michael W. Hoke.
Mr. Jackson is the next person. Mr. You don't have to come up if you're going to cede your time to Mr. McCoy. Okay. I figured as much.
He told him to give Myron Robinson, a citizen, an undercover police car to take to Charles Vaughn over at a laundromat on Pulaski and Augusta Boulevard. You might recognize this guy right here, Herb Brown Jr. Worked in narcotics with Michael W. Hoke. He brought him over to IAD, made him a police agent. I didn't know what a police agent was until the union told me. Coming in the door, he was made a police agent. He said, you take my department-issued Chevy Caprice and you follow him over there, and you follow him over there to this closed laundromat that's located on Pulaski and Augusta Boulevard. And you hand it over to this gentleman right here, Mr. Charles Vaughn. Look at his picture. I'll pick it up later. Look at my picture. Now, look at both our pictures together. Do we look alike? You're darn right we look alike. See, I see all these policemen come here every day and they got all these muscles. I don't have no muscles. My team didn't have no muscles. You go on the west side and you ask people about me and my partner, Jerry Sappho. You ask the worst of the worst. And you know what they do? They bow their head. And they say, you don't mess with them two guys.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. The next individual who signed up to speak is Mr. Kent McDonald. Oh, Keith, sorry.
Thank you. This gentleman right here, you might recognize him. He worked in internal affairs for a long time. Lorenzo Jackson. He told him to go and set up the camera in this building across the street from 5721 West Bloomingdale to film this robbery. Any policeman in here is a real policeman? Would you want to film your own crime? They filmed it. This lady right here is an FBI agent, Deborah Jones Buggs. I was supposed to rob her on December the 8th. This is the predicate of this whole conspiracy. And you wonder why I'm here. These people right here destroyed 60,000 people on the West Side lives. When the citizens thought that we were involved in something criminal, black people started selling their property for little or nothing, and they were panic selling. Here's Officer Jackson. They said he was the driver of that black Caprice Chevrolet. Here's Officer Jackson and Herb Brown Jr. side by side. They look alike, don't they? Oh, yes, they do. I told you last month, I'm going to be back. This is above your pay grade. You better tell the mayor. This one's going to cost a lot of money. You see this gentleman right here? When I tell you the story about this gentleman right here, some of you on the board might be wanting to resign. This gentleman right here is somebody you don't want to meet on the street that they hid. This guy did a murder, and the Chicago Police Department covered it up because they thought they could get away. And I'm going to leave you with this. I'll be back next month, and in December, I'm going to fill this room up. And all those people are going to come here, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. Y'all have a nice night.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Jennifer Edwards is the next person who signed up to speak.
Okay, I'm going to try to be quick. Many of you may have seen on Channel 2 last week a story about porch pirates. There was a chief of police in Lyons that's trying to do something about this problem. It's in all of our neighborhoods. People are losing the packages that they are ordering. And the reason that they can't catch these people is because of the amount of the theft that they have. It's various reasons. We are going to be bringing in members of the state's attorney's office to talk about the Safety Act and to try to change some of that, because this is something that the police don't have time to go after. One thing that we are asking is for OEMC in the city of Chicago to think about if we can call in and there be some type of notification that there has been a theft of a package. And we can track the neighborhoods and see where this is happening. This might be important to a lot of people. We're going to do this because the police can't do it. And we also hope that we can support our officers, tell them what we're doing, talk with them about various things that we're trying to do to support them. And this will be something like a wellness event for them. We're going to be going to the roll calls, asking them what they think about the things that are happening in our neighborhoods, as Ms. Cece said, on 75th Street, and the officers cannot react to these things. So on the 7th of November at the 3rd District, we have got confirmation that we're going to have members of the state's attorney's office to come in to talk about some of these things. We're also going to be doing a few other things that I'll tell you guys later. But we need to do something about the porch pirates, because you need to know your neighbors. Everybody doesn't. And when I order stuff, I want it to be there when I get to the door. So thank you.
Thank you, as always, Ms. Edwards. The next person who signed up to speak is Mike Ewing.
Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening.
I came before you last month expressing a serious concern about explosions detonated in the 4th District, the South Shore and South Chicago community. After that statement, Chief Navales asked me to detail the incident. Sent it to him in an email. I did that the very next morning. He responded to me later that same day. Chief Navales, I really respect him. I worked with him before. He acknowledged that everything I said was correct and it had been an immediate order to cease and stop all training at that particular site. My concern is there's been no public acknowledgement, no written statement. How I appreciate the quick internal response. The external response is not forthcoming. I reviewed your board's website and looked at the policy on public comments. And I also saw the consent decree, and I'm gonna have to look at the numbers exactly, and I can hand it to you later, 538 and 729, that's referenced in your policy. When I looked on your website for public comments, I saw a boilerplate comment all the way back to January, and I'll give you those. I'm sure you can see it for yourself. All the way back to January, basically stating no other information is required. Let me just hand you this. Sure. The policy on top. There are 9 months of statements that all say the exact same thing. They only change Chief Navales, Tally, Superintendent, whoever is in that position, and basically says 9, 10, 12, whatever members spoke. That is not consistent with your policy. It is not consistent with the consent decree, and it's just disrespectful for the community to come out and speak. I am going to, on behalf of the South Shore and South Chicago communities, respectfully ask you to direct Chief of the Counterterrorism Unit, DeVries, I think it's Brian DeVries, to submit that written apology to the South Shore and South Chicago communities. Let me see, I wrote some things down, but that's basically what I wanted to say. I would like you to look at your policy, the ones I just hand you, and review that and make sure you follow that policy in a consent decree. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Dewitt, and I'll definitely be happy to speak with you afterwards and to follow up on that. The next person who is signed up to speak is Miss Janet Martin Fox. Okay. Okay. The next individual who signed up is Mr. Ephraim Lee.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Yeah, I know this is the second month, right? Y'all got me now. It's my district. I guess I got to be here. But yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ephraim Lee, and once again, I am present because as the district councilor, this is my district, and I wanted to address some issues put forth to me by my constituents, and I hope this is under 2 minutes. So as many of you are aware, COPA, CCPSA, the police superintendent, and many others have made it their mission to bring the Chicago Police Department back to its roots of discipline, citizen focus, dedication to excellence, and service for all. They are now operating with a renewed purpose, but lately members of ICE have tested their resolve and threatened to undo all of our hard work through their operations, which exist without ethics, a code of conduct, or any humanity towards those they assault and injure in the name of immigration reform. Many of my constituents would like to know if the governor or the mayor have given any thought to the fact that many of these individuals may, in fact, not be who they say they are. A person with no identification, no badge, very little training, no code of ethics, and no recourse for their actions could, in fact, be members recruited from an alt-right group, such as the Proud Boys, or those hell-bent on practicing bigotry and violence under the cloak of the government. Our police and citizens now find themselves pitted against an organization that does not possess the same creed or desire for transparency, and this puts our citizens and officers at risk because who can they bring to justice when they have been maliciously tear gassed or injured? Or when they're trying to keep the citizens of this city safe when they are simply exercising their First Amendment rights? Our officers and citizens are fighting for their lives with one hand being forcefully tied behind their backs. And I would like to have this noted on the record. And with the little time I have left, I just want to say it's a shame because we have come so far in the 2 years I've been a district councilor. CPD has been more effective, they're more professional, and I think this is because of COPA, CCPSA, district councils, and everybody else who have had a hand in this. So I really want emphasis placed on these individuals because in their desire, they are going to set us back if someone takes it upon themselves to inflict violence. Now, CPD must act, and we don't really want to know or see how that turns out. So thank you all for your time. Good night.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. We have two more speakers who have signed up, three. The next speaker is Pastor Doyle.
For the record, and by the time that email reaches God's November 3rd gift, you'll understand that this almost didn't happen. So for the record, DOYLE-LANDRY as a United States Marine Corps veteran. And as you see from the email from Detective Douglas, he was diligent in arresting the young black miscreant who shot 3 times at me at close range on Saturday, October 4th. So that's the official email. It actually happened at 95th and the Red Line, and I was wearing this exact same outfit with the hoodie, with the hood down. So I'm still trying to figure out how an under 25 young black miscreant mistook me for one of his people. But there's nothing to replace being shot at. And again, I'm a Marine Corps veteran who served in combat. Close range by someone who you don't know. So if this can happen to me, it can happen to anyone in this room. And I keep saying over and over and over, the mental health of young black miscreants who are unemployed, angry, add a whole lot of adjectives because I'm still processing that which occurred on Saturday, October 4th. And as I said to Ms. White, at the beginning of this meeting, it was important for me to put that in her hands because 5 minutes isn't guaranteed to any of us in this city due to young black miscreants who are not stopped here. So I'm sorry that Deputy Mayor Gatewood still had to leave because need this on the record, that must be the focus. So I trust Ms. White will have an outstanding November 3rd birthday. And hopefully at the November meeting, I'll be present and not forecasting doom for the attorney whose birthday is December 4th. She knows.
Thank you, Pastor Doyle. The next speaker we have signed up is Miss Evangelise Lattice Porter.
Good evening, and it's Evangelist Lattice Porter, but don't worry about it. They
My
always
apologies.
mispronounce my name. God bless you all, and I just thank God for you. I work with the 3rd District Police. I'm the lady that spearheaded the Million Woman United Family March in D.C. last August, not this one that just passed. And we were setting up a march here, a peaceful march, to bridge the gap between the police and the community. This summer in Woodlawn, we were not able to march because of the bad weather. But I'm really glad that we didn't because Mr. Navalis was speaking with the superintendent. We wanted him to be present. But right now we're setting up, I'm getting ready to set up community talks within our community in Woodlawn, and hopefully it will spread across Chicago, because we need healing in our communities. We need God in our communities and deliverance, but it's on the level of what we are seeing now with ICE. So we want to have community table talks, and I would hope that not only would the police join in, but maybe some of you, because when they take off their uniforms, they are people just like we are. And we want to come together as a family so that we can connect and make things better, and they'll know how to handle ICE, mental health. We want to have this march, the march that we want to have. So at the end of the march, there'll be all kind of vendors, mental health people there, jobs there, to see how we can better tighten what we're doing, and perhaps on the federal level that can move ICE and all of this garbage out that we didn't have here. Because even though you say that crime is going down in the city, yes, from the police perspective, but from our perspective, it's going up because of ICE. We haven't seen anything like this. We've never experienced it, and we just want to get together with all hands on deck to help us come together and bring our city back. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Porter. And the last individual who signed up to speak is Ms. Helen Henning.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was here last month, and I'm still going through this police harassment in all these jurisdictions. And I also have some, I continue to be getting this phone call. Well, this came from the Naperville Police Department, but I didn't know that it was a police officer. But I went to the Naperville Police Officer Department to see if they could trace where these calls were coming from, and it was one of their police officers. So I don't know what frame of mind he has after me reporting him, but I've been going through this police harassment for over 20 years, starting in Chicago. And there have been murder attempts on my life, and I said this before at the last meeting. I still didn't get a response from that. I have it on my phone right now. This police officer called me and told me F me and some other things that I don't think I would like everybody to hear. I've gone through this for many years. I know nothing about drugs, nothing about anything related to it. So I would like to get to the bottom of it and get this resolved, because it has worn me out, and I'm followed from place to place, and it's just assassination of my character. People that know me, thank God for that. So I just want to get over with.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Henning. With that, all members of the public who have signed up to speak, is there a motion to adjourn the October Police Board meeting?
Yes, so moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. 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 The motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight.